So I think the story of discovering Sin nombre hantavirus is a really remarkable story. And an example, I think, of where public health infrastructure can really succeed and benefit all of us. It was May 1993, so I was in third grade, and a young, healthy marathon runner shows up at an emergency room in New Mexico, in Gallup. He had had a couple of days of fever and myalgias, and then very precipitously died in the emergency room of respiratory failure over the span of hours. And so the New Mexico emergency room appropriately was alarmed and called the county medical investigator who got involved. And he was in the process of doing an autopsy of a really similar case that had just happened. So he went to go consent the family to see if they would be willing to do an autopsy too, and found out that they were actually on their way to a funeral across the street for the 19-year-old's fiance who had just died of the exact same clinical scenario. And so all of those alarm bells went off. People appropriately spoke up and said, this is really unusual. We need to look into this quickly. And over the span of a few weeks, not only got the New Mexico Department of Public Health involved, but also the CDC. And we're able, over that very short time period, to find a number of cases through case definitions. Within several weeks, we're able to isolate samples from patients and realize it was in a family of hantaviruses, but no human hantavirus had ever been described in the United States before. They realized that hantaviruses, knowing they were spread by rodents in other countries, went out and caught 1,700 mice and rats around the New Mexico area, and were able to isolate a new hantavirus from the deer mouse. So over the span of a few weeks, went from a mysterious illness that was killing people to knowing what disease it was, antibody levels, and the actual vector that was spreading it. And they went to go publish this. They'd initially called it the Muerto Canyon virus out of an area that some of the cases had come from. And the community there quickly was like, before you publish this, you can't call it that. We've already been shunned and had a lot of stigma because of this outbreak for our community. Please change the name. And so at the last second, they changed it to Sin nombre, the no-name virus. And to this day, that's what it's called. But I think it's a great example of when our public health system can really work to find something novel, help all of us by identifying an outbreak, and give us a lot of important information.